Hello friends, welcome to this video on lines and angles. Today we will discuss the properties of parallel lines and transversal. We know that when two lines are intersected by a transversal, then different types of pairs of angles are formed. For example, these are pairs of corresponding angles. And these are pairs of alternate angles. In this, we call these alternate exterior angles, and these are called alternate interior angles. And the pair of interior angles formed on one side of the transversal are called consecutive interior angles or allied angles. And sometimes these are called co-interior angles. Friends, if these two lines are parallel, then, that is, if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then can we tell if there is any relation between the angles? Let's draw two lines P and Q, which are parallel to each other, and a transversal N which intersects them at points A and B respectively. Now with the help of a protractor, let's measure the pair of corresponding angles. Here you can see that angle 1 is equal to angle 5. Angle 2 is equal to angle 6. Angle 4 is equal to angle 8. And angle 3 is equal to angle 7. Now we can say that if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of corresponding angles are equal. This is what we call corresponding angles axiom. If a transversal intersects two lines such that a pair of corresponding angles are equal, then two lines are parallel to each other. Friends, is this statement true? Let us check this statement. Draw a line PQ and mark 2 points M and N on it. Construct angle PMA and angle MNC on these points in such a way that they are equal to each other. Draw the lines AB and CD by extending AM and CN respectively to the other side of PQ. These two lines are not intersecting each other. We can also measure the distance between the line AB and line CD by making a common perpendicular on them. These lengths are equal at each place. That is why we can say that these lines are parallel. Therefore, the given statement is true. And we call this converse of corresponding angles axiom. Similarly, can you tell if there is any relation between alternate interior angles formed by the intersection of two parallel lines by a transversal? Let's say we have been given that the lines are parallel, that is, angle PCD and angle MDB are corresponding angles. So they will be equal, and angle MDB and angle NDC are also equal, as they are vertically opposite angles. From this, we can draw the conclusion that angle PCD and angle NDC will also be equal. Similarly, we can also prove that angle QCD and angle MDC to be equal to each other. Why don't you pause the video and try to prove it? Now we can write our result as a theorem in such a way that if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of alternate interior angles is equal. Can we call two lines parallel if the alternate interior angles are equal? Let's look at the figure. Both these angles are vertically opposite angles. Therefore, angle MRQ and angle LRS will be equal, and we have been given that these two angles are equal. From these two statements, we can draw the conclusion that both these angles are equal. Friends, kindly note, these two angles are corresponding angles. Using the converse of corresponding angles axiom, we can prove that lines AB and LM are parallel lines. We can write this result also in the form of a theorem as follows. If a transversal intersects two lines such that a pair of alternate interior angles is equal, then the two lines are parallel. Friends, that's all in this session. Today we discussed the properties of parallel lines and transversal. See you in the next video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to this video on lines and angles. In the previous video, we discussed some properties of parallel lines and transversal. Today we will see some theorems related to the same. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary. Friends, we have been given that these lines, line MN and line PQ, are parallel. And we have to prove that each pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary. That is, the sum of angles MCD and PDC will be 180 degree, and the sum of angles NCD and QDC will also be 180 degree. Here, angle MCD and PDB are corresponding angles, so they will be equal. Angle PDC and angle PDB form a linear pair, so their sum will be 180 degree. Look at these carefully. Here angle PDB is equal to angle MCD. So instead of angle PDB, we can write angle MCD here. Now we can say that these two angles are supplementary angles. Similarly, we can prove angle NCD and angle QDC as supplementary angles. Friends, pause the video and try to prove it yourself. Let's move ahead. In our next question, we will prove the converse of this theorem. If a transversal intersects two lines such that a pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary, then the two lines are parallel. Let's draw a figure like this. Here, transversal AB intersects the two lines SP and RT at points C and D respectively in such a way that the sum of these two interior angles is 180 degree. With the help of this, we have to prove that lines SP and RT are parallel lines. Now, let's look at its proof. We have been given this. Look at the figure. Angle RDB and angle RDC are forming a linear pair. So keeping in mind the linear pair axiom, we can say that the sum of these two angles will be 180 degree. If we write these two like this, then we can say that angle SCD and angle RDB are equal. By looking at the figure, we can say that these two are corresponding angles. Therefore, using the converse of the corresponding angles axiom, we can say that these two lines are parallel. Friends, that's all in this session. Today we discussed some theorems related to properties of parallel lines and transversal. See you in the next video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to this video on lines and angles. In the previous video, we discussed some properties related to parallel lines and transversal. Today we will discuss some facts related to properties of parallel lines and transversal. Let's start with the statement. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is complementary. Is this statement true? Friends, let's understand this statement with the help of a figure. PQ and MN are two parallel lines, and the transversal AB intersects these two lines at points C and D respectively. Interior angles formed on the same side of transversal, that is angle PCD, angle MDC and angle QCD, angle CDN are complementary angles. And we know that angles whose sum is 90 degrees are complementary angles. Is the sum of these angles 90 degree? From the figure, we know that their sum is more than 90 degrees. And to prove this, we can use this theorem. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. That is, the sum of these two angles is not 90 degree, but 180 degree. Therefore, this statement is false. Let's move ahead and look at a question. With the help of information given in the figure, choose the correct option. Friends, see the figure carefully. The measure of this angle is 70 degree and the measure of this angle is 110 degree. These two angles are vertically opposite angles, so they will be 110 degrees. And these two angles form a linear pair, so we can write them like this. We get the measure of x as 110 degree. Be careful, here the measure of both x and y is same. And using converse of the corresponding angles axiom, we can say that these two lines are parallel. Therefore, option 1 is correct. Friends, that's all in this session. Today we discussed some facts related to properties of parallel lines and transversal. See you in the next video. Thank you.